At a Red Lobster in southern Utah, something unusual happened. A discovery that turned a routine day at the restaurant into an urgent marine conservation mission. This is the story of Claudia, a pregnant lobster who became the center of a cross-country rescue mission. Her story, a reminder of how every creature from ocean to table can teach us something about sustainability.
We received a package of lobsters last week, and earlier today, my hostess noticed one of the lobsters actually flipped upside down on her back with her tail curled over. She got a hold of the manager on duty, and when he went to go inspect it, he actually found that she was in the process of laying eggs.
We couldn't believe it. She was laying eggs like crazy. Yeah, we love our lobsters here at Red Lobster. It's like biology class every day, marine biology.
This is known as a buried lobster, a female carrying fertilized eggs under her tail. And under U.S. law, she's federally protected. The staff at Red Lobster named this mama Claudia. Buried lobsters are critical to sustaining lobster populations.
You can see all of those eggs right there. 10,000 eggs that are now going back into the ocean.
How common is it that you guys receive a female lobster that's pregnant or laying eggs?
It's not very common at all. We try really hard to, at least our lobster fishermen try very hard to throw back females. They actually have a process.
Before we throw her back, we're gonna cut a notch into this tail flipper right here. That notch signifies that she's a proven breeder. So she is now illegal to keep even after she releases these eggs. She's protected for life.
Only a tiny fraction of those thousands of eggs survive. That's why every buried lobster is so valuable and why her safe return became a priority. So how did Claudia, a protected lobster, end up in a restaurant tank in southern Utah? We asked a marine biologist.
Is there any reason or let me think, what's the right word? Any conditions as to why a lobster would lay their eggs after being captured? Any response or anything like that that would induce that? I don't know if that's the right term.
That is the right term. It's really all up to environmental cues, as well as the fact that when she had the spermatophore deposited, it was probably, she was captured after that. Her eggs actually might not have been fully developed for her to be able to actually excrete them. So it's all about timing and a lot of external cues. Working at the Loveland Living Planet Aquarium, there are cues for all of our animals, like our jellyfish will strobulate and produce with certain different cues. And even amongst the different species of jellies, their external cues are different. And so it could be a cue, but also it could be the fact that her eggs just weren't ready.
After she was discovered to be egg-bearing, the restaurant took swift action to get her back to her home waters.
So whenever they get shipped, they always get packed in newspaper or wet paper towel. So we're going to take some of our paper towels that we have and put them in the tank water, since that has the pH levels and the salinity. So it's kind of like what they're used to. Oh, Leanne, in the freezer, where the ice cream is, there's a whole bunch of ice packs. Would you please bring those to me? She's still moving, she's still looking great. Still got our eggs down there. So I'm going to try to pack her a little tight just so that in transport she doesn't move around and bounce. I actually have these extra boxes here to kind of brace her. I'm going to put some more paper towels around her so that the ice packs aren't directly on her. Like I said yesterday, lobsters, they can survive out of water as long as they're wet. Thank you, Leanne. They have both lungs and gills. So when they are outside, they kind of switch over to their lungs. And then whenever we show them off for kids here, we always rinse them. We tip them with their head up so they blow all the bubbles out that are hanging around their lungs and gills so they can start breathing with their gills again. Get her in there so she's all nice and snug. I think the one's gonna do it. Then I'll get that all taped up. Yep.
So now she'll go to Maine, right?
Yep. She'll be shipped off, overnighted, and will be delivered to Maine by 10:30.
This isn't the first time an egg-bearing lobster ended up in a Utah tank. Last year, a red lobster in Layton went through the same process.
Back down to the bottom of the ocean.
Davy Jones Locker.
Claudia took that same journey. She arrived to Maine at 6 a.m. on Friday morning and was loaded into a FedEx truck. She arrived at the dock by 11 a.m. When lobstermen opened the crate, it was too late. Claudia didn't survive the trip.
No, she did not make it. Unfortunately, that happens.
Yeah.
They're so stressed out on that ride back. So
No.
yeah, we try our best to get them back, you know.
But she was still returned to the ocean and her home ecosystem to continue the circle of life.
When returning her back to the ocean, back to the ecosystem she came from, not only are you giving an opportunity for scavengers that are in that ecosystem to potentially have a meal that they might not have earlier, you're also recycling the same nutrients that came from that ecosystem. So those nutrients are super important, not only for her to have when she's living, but also for all of the other animals in that ecosystem to be able to share, things like calcium and iron and, all of those nutrients are really important. So it's good to be able to put those back to where they came from, for sure.
It was like our pregnant mother lobster. We cradled her practically, get her in her water and separate her, and yeah, she just kept laying eggs.
Claudia's story didn't end the way many people hoped, but her journey revealed something powerful. A restaurant team that noticed, cared, and tried.
Being in the middle of the desert of Utah, not many people think about lobsters, but then a situation happens like this, and then all of a sudden they're invested in these animals and they want to learn more about them. And that's a perfect example of being able to engage in that, that curiosity and inspire the knowledge, because the more you learn, the better the planet's going to be, because you learn about lobsters and then you learn about the sustainable, catching and the sustainable harvesting of them. And then you can make the decision yourself of, do I want to continue to eat lobsters? Or, maybe I need to make sure that the lobsters I am eating are sustainably harvested, or is there any sort of aquaculture rather than harvesting them? Can I, make sure that they're aquacultured somewhere? And so I know I'm not, taking from the ocean itself. And so, or you just slowly snowball into, I love lobsters, but I really want to learn about crabs. And then you just gain so much more knowledge. And then also people tend to care more when they learn more about them. And then we're able to essentially help drive more conservation efforts towards protecting our oceans and our animals that really need help in all of our ecosystems.
From ocean to table and back again, Claudia's journey reminds us that every lobster has value beyond the plate. And the choices we make at every step of the supply chain determine whether that value survives.